How good enough parents raise their children. Parents don't need to be perfect. Just good enough. Hello everyone, and welcome to today's talk. As parents, we all want to give our children the best and raise them to become wonderful human beings. But this journey is not always a bed of roses. Is it? There will be times when we feel confused, exhausted, or even make mistakes. So, what should we do in those moments? Today, we'll explore a very interesting concept, the idea of the good enough parent. It may sound a bit strange at first, but this concept is actually a key to helping us parent more gently and effectively. Key ideas we'll explore together. Before diving into the details, let's review a few core ideas that experts often emphasize. First, no one is perfect, and that includes us, the parents. What matters most is accepting our imperfections and seeing each mistake as a chance to learn and grow alongside our child. Second, children learn a great deal from how we live our daily lives. That's why it's important to try to be a good example of kindness, sincerity, and empathy. Now, let's explore each aspect more deeply to understand how good enough parents walk alongside their children. Companionship. Guiding and supporting rather than controlling. Many of us want our children to succeed and excel. Because of that, we sometimes push them to take more classes, play more sports, get high grades, or be outstanding in every activity. We might use stern words, tempting rewards, or even punishments to get them to follow our wishes. But did you know? Excessive strictness or constant pressure doesn't necessarily help children go further. On the contrary, it can create stress, pressure, and drain their joy of learning. What children truly need is timely, appropriate support from their parents. Be present with your child. Listen to them, offer them the necessary resources, and gently motivate them when they need an extra spark. This kind of support becomes a long-lasting source of motivation that helps them thrive. Empowering independence. A foundation for the future. Next is another equally important aspect. How do we encourage independence in our children? Good enough parents understand that letting children do things on their own, or at least teaching them how to do things themselves, is absolutely essential. Whether it's small tasks like doing homework or chores, or bigger things like making friends and resolving personal conflicts, independence plays a key role. However, the line between helping and over-helping can sometimes be very thin. How much should we help? When should we step back and let our child explore? The general principle is guide, suggest, but don't do it for them. For example, instead of solving a homework problem for them, review the lesson together. Offer step-by-step hints, or show them how to look up information. Instead of rushing to school to resolve a friendship issue, teach your child how to communicate respectfully, express emotions, and solve problems peacefully. By doing so, you're not only helping with the situation at hand but also equipping your child with invaluable life skills and tools for a confident future. Being aware that children are watching. You are their mirror. Have you ever noticed that everything we say and do is closely observed by our children? Sometimes, when we're annoyed, we might complain about the noisy neighbor or raise our voice at the driver who cut us off. While no one is perfect, good enough, parents are always aware that they are the clearest and biggest mirror their child looks into every day. We're all human. Everyone loses their temper now and then or says something harsh. But using hurtful words, shaming, or belittling a child is never the right way to teach. Try putting yourself in your child's shoes. Would you want to be treated that way? If we hope our children will grow into kind, empathetic, and respectful individuals, then we must strive to show those very qualities ourselves, in our daily lives. In how we treat others, and especially in how we treat our children. Effective loving discipline. Building long-term happiness. One of the most precious gifts parents can give their children is discipline. But this doesn't mean punishment. Proper discipline teaches children about boundaries, rules, and the consequences of their actions. It helps them understand what's right and wrong. It's not just a way to encourage good behavior, but a foundation for healthy social relationships and long-term happiness. Why is discipline so important? Studies show that children who grow up without appropriate discipline often become more defiant, struggle to connect with others, and have a harder time experiencing real joy and fulfillment in life. That's why it's essential to practice positive discipline with patience and consistency. The power of apologizing, teaching responsibility. Lastly, as parents, we sometimes make mistakes too. So how can we turn those mistakes into valuable lessons for our children? It's simple. Learn to acknowledge our faults and say sorry. When we've done something wrong to our child, or to someone else in front of them, don't hesitate to say, "I'm sorry." Briefly explain where you went wrong and try to make amends if possible. This simple act is one of the most powerful ways to teach children about honesty and responsibility. Good enough parents understand that making mistakes is normal. What matters is how we face those mistakes, what we learn from them, and how we teach our children to take responsibility for their actions. Conclusion. So you see, the parenting journey doesn't require perfection. Instead of chasing some idealized image of the perfect parent, just know that being good enough is enough. Be patient enough to support, wise enough to empower independence, calm enough to lead by example, loving enough to discipline, and brave enough to admit your mistakes. When we do those things, we create a warm, safe environment where our children can confidently grow and become the best versions of themselves. Thank you for listening.